Hello, welcome to another video on why are comic books so addictive. Because they are so addictive, and because I love going back in time to research or to find out about the past. Um, I enjoy finding out that my local comic book store, my LCS, was a lot more than just an LCS. One could say that it's maybe ahead of its time, a pioneer of its own in many ways. It's too bad that it no longer exists. It would be fun to go back go back to visit the store today. I have exchanged, I have found one of the key worker that worked there for many years. At the same time, I was buying books from the place. Of course, he does not remember me, but we have exchanged emails. I have asked for um, old pictures. Sadly, he does not own any, but he um, linked me to his blog. He has a blog that he kept, which made for some interesting reading. And for sure, I put a link below. I also put a link below to a video of Wendy PIni. How many people here know that name? Does that name ring a bell? I can tell you, back in the early days of collecting, um, 81, 82, 83, when I was at that store a lot, so at least 3 times a week. Um, you know, colors was a big part of my collecting psyche. That was one of the reasons why I ignore a lot of the black and white magazine, even though they had great covers. Okay, the first magazine that I bought and collected was really the Epic. The Epic line was some was the very first magazine that I bought because it has color inside. That does not mean that I did not want it to buy black and white. It was just, for my age back then, I didn't like black and white. For those that watch a lot of my videos today, you know how much I love black and white. But as I get older, my taste changed. But back then, back in 81 through 83, for some reason, when I see black and white, I just didn't feel that it had enough. It lacked the beauty of colors. Okay, and but one of the magazines that caught my eye every time I walk into the store, and I wish that it had color, was ElfQuest. Okay, sure, I look at the horror magazine, even the Conan magazine. Those Conan covers were awesome, but I was never a big, huge Conan fan. I mean, I like Conan, but just because the cover were awesome was not enough for me to buy it, even though you know the black and white was not the format that I care for. So the thoughts of buying the Conan magazine back then never crossed my mind. The thought of buying the ElfQuest magazine was a constant thing in my mind as I walked into the store each and every week for those years, because the covers of those magazines, my store had a big section of ElfQuest. I could have bought just about every issues of that run. Um, Maybe not the first print, that's for sure. The first few issues, when they had second, I think second or even third printing, but I remember just admiring those beautiful covers by PIni and flip through the black and white magazine and enjoying the art. Is not comic book art, kind of, not superhero. It'd be wrong to say that it's not comic book. It's great illustration, but it's a very different style. It's something more of the style that I actually enjoy when I was younger, when I was reading those Belgium and French comic books. So it's a different style. Okay, for those that know the Asterix and Obelix and Tintin and Lucky Luke kind of thing. So the art was definitely to my taste, and the only drawback was those black and white. I was prejudiced against the black and white format, so I never buy anything. And years later, decades later, as I you know return to the hobby and appreciate the black and white magazine, especially in the last 2 years, I certainly have my fill of quests, and I enjoy searching out those issues and buy them. But back to my local comic book store of the 80s, as I mentioned, it is somewhat of a pioneer in independent publishing. Um, One of the things that they put out was the X-Men Chronicle. I had that somewhere. I couldn't find it, but I bought that, and they also put out the Fantastic Four Chronicle, which is pretty decent. I bought this. It has a nice John Byrne cover. The X-Men Chronicle cover was pretty cool. It was drawn by Dave Cockrum. It's a beautiful red and black covers. Okay, I vaguely remember the image, but this one is John Byrne. It's the store actually paid those artists to do the special cover for them. So it's a wraparound covers. Well, it's not a wraparound, but it basically they printed the same full covers on the back, where you don't have the logo blocking the art. So it's beautiful, like I said. But this store, of course, also famous for doing the Fred Hambeck satire lines of books. Um, but it championed independent publisher. Okay, as you know, I had a chance to buy the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle #1 and pass on it. Um, but it's neat to go back and read the history of FANTACO. That's the name of the store. Okay, FANTACO in Albany, and its history in comic publishing. I'm sure if you Google it, Wikipedia, you will find a lot of interesting stuff about it. But one of the thing that uh, one of the blog that is still maintained today is by one of the worker, and it's a good blog. Link below about Wendy PIni, and her husband, and how popular they were at FANTACO, as far as showing up to do special signing, appearing as guests at FANTACO own conventions in the early 80s, which I attended. Okay, and back then I did not get anything signed. I remember seeing them at the conventions, but you know I was just too shy and too I was just that was just not in my realm of thinking to to go stand in line to get a signatures or anything like that. It's a different world back then. Not that many people care about those things. But the neat thing about Wendy PIni, for those that don't collect ElfQuest, is long before she created ElfQuest, long before she become be no, long before she was known for being ElfQuest, she was more known for being the sexy Red Sonja, appearing in conventions, in cosplay, appearing on stage. Once again, the link is below where she appeared on a couple TV show. That is gold. That is what I'm telling you. That is what I love about YouTube, is to see clips like that in the 70s. In one of the clip where she appeared on a TV show, and the guest of the TV show was Phil I think that's how you pronounce his name. But Phil Silic, for those that watch my channel long enough, is the father of the big convention. He is one of the key player, if not the key player, in organizing these massive spectacle event that's we all know today is comic book convention. So it's neat to see him on the stage. And did you see how he handled all those golden age beauties? Phil is a big guy with big hand, and he was pretty rough with these golden age books, flipping them around. People today would freak out as if he's destroying the book. But as you can see, a great clip for sure. Watch that clip. Watch the clip because Wendy show up later in her sexy Red Sonja outfit. Oh, awesome, pure gold. But yeah, let me know. I'd love to hear how many people out there collected ElfQuest or still do. I think it's a uh, neat series. I read. I have the first 13 issues. Okay. I also have the very first. This is the very first issue of ElfQuest. Okay. And from issue 2 onward, she and her husband did their own publishing from a company called Warp. Warp stands for Wendy and Richard PIni. Okay, that's how WARP was created, is them. And a big kudos for those two to be one of the early success in independent publishing and make it on their own when nobody else believed in ElfQuest. And that's it for this video. For those that want to see me talk more about ElfQuest, show some more stuff on ElfQuest, let me know, because I do have the first 13 issues. And that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.